One of the things that just faze me the least now is just people who are only good looking. Like
they have nothing else to offer apart from the looks.
There's so much more, I believe, that makes a person an attractive person, an intriguing person than their looks, okay? It can't just be your face anymore. And in a very shallow world where everybody can now access the same thing, whatever you want to look like, you can go out there and make yourself look like. Let's not even get into the fact that as soon as you might achieve that idealistic standard of good lookingness, society's beauty standards change consistently nowadays. People were going out getting BBLs. The last batch of people to get BBLs must have woken up from the doctor's bed, gone on Instagram and realized that BBLs are no longer trending. I also noticed everyone's also starting to look the same. So the beauty you're looking for, you can find anywhere. This is what we're going to get economical with it. We're going to talk about supply and demand, take ourselves back to A-level economics, A-level business. I genuinely believe that we live in a society where there is high supply and low uniqueness. And that is why the cycles of relationships are so frequent. Next. Because if all someone offers is a face and a body, what's going to make you stay? Nothing. Because you look at next man and he's got the same thing. You look at the next girl, got the same thing. Okay, so what is it that makes someone unique? How can you be unique? My idea of real beauty is what the Lord tells me is beautiful. Okay, so today we're going to talk about biblical beauty standards. What does the Lord think is beautiful? Starting with the fruits of the Spirit. Okay, in Galatians chapter 5 verses 22, the Lord lists the fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. This is what the Lord is looking at. In this society, we love to use the term, what do you bring to the table? Men like to ask women, what do you bring to the table? Women like to ask men, what do you bring to the table? But Jesus Christ of Nazareth is asking you, what do you bring to the table? Out of those 9 fruits, pause the video now and think about your life. How many of those 9 fruits do you have? And I'm going to be honest, because I don't have all of them. I'm not the most patient person. I've got more to be focusing on. And when I actually get into that reality, like, wait a minute.
I've decided what hairstyle I'm doing for March and for April and for June.
But I failed to realize that this week I've been incredibly undisciplined and incredibly unkind. Throughout the entirety of the Bible, God actually puts an emphasis upon the fact that he's more interested with the state of our heart than our outward appearance. Samuel chapter 16 verse 7, God says, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. The thing is, this society has become so obsessed with presenting themselves as pleasing unto mankind that they have forgotten that there is only one true judge which we should be trying to present ourselves as pleasing unto, and that's the Lord. Galatians chapter 1 verse 10 says, if we're trying to approve man, then we are not servants of the Lord. The thing is what's even scary in the society now is people are trying to win the approval of mankind, and they can't even do that.
Because mankind doesn't even know what they want.
Beauty standards are so ever-changing that you're stuck in this cycle of trying to win the approval of people who don't even know what they want. Meantime, God is looking at your heart, which is
black.
Okay, it looks the exact opposite of what your pretty face looks like. He wants you in eternity with him, but all you're worried about is the way that man perceives you. I'm not even trying to come here and say that you can't strive for beauty. I am the last person to tell you that the Lord is upset with you because you got a wig on your head or lashes or tattoos, because I'll be coming here to be a living walking contradiction, okay? But what I do believe is that the Lord is okay with this stuff as long as they don't become our God. As long as this is not what I use to win the approval of mankind and to make myself feel good, calm. Like, this is just self-expression. The way my heart looks is my biggest worry, okay? Because I could arrive in heaven having worn every single bust down there was on this earth. The Lord looks at my heart and says,
depart from me, I never knew you.
Now, in the Bible, in Corinthians chapter 13, I think it's 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it would say that, like, if I can speak in the language of angels, but I don't have love, then I'm just a clinging cymbal. And we can kind of like interpret that in this today's society to kind of mean like, if I have everything else, if I can do all these incredible things, I can speak like that and I can speak like this and I can look like this and I can wear my hair like this and I can wear the latest this, but I'm not loving like the Lord has called me to be, then I'm worthless. Like, what am I here for? One thing that, can I say this, that I don't really like sometimes about Christians is like the performance attribute of some Christians, okay? You look nice, you look sweet, you come to church, you're dressed the best, you got your hat on, you got your dress on, cussing out every single kid that has ripped jeans or lashes, okay? But really and truly, you're being the most judgmental, you're being the most unkind, you're being
a Pharisee.
And that's not what the Lord has called us to be, okay? Someone can walk into that church undecently dressed, in your opinion, tattoos, coloured hair, piercings, okay? But their heart to the Lord is far more pleasing
Than you, the one who's judging them.
We will get ourselves in so much trouble if we just fall for charm. If you're only going upon what someone looks like and the sweet things that they say from their mouth, you're finished, bro. Pack it in right now and retire from the game, because you're not going to get anything that is worthwhile or long lasting from it. We need to remember in this life where everything can be made to look good, a lot of things that we see in front of us are
Deceptive.
We need to pray to the Lord for discernment, to be able to tell what is good and what is God. I wasn't even growing up in the faith, but my parents always used to say to me that, like, if someone is a bad person, they're not just going to have written over their head, like, in red ink, monster. Like, you're not just going to have 2 heads and 5 horns, okay? The thing is with the enemy, he will dress up something that he sent you as your biggest dream. So you're praying to the Lord for
6'5", dark skin, sportsman who drives Mercedes AMG.
cool. The next minute, the enemy sends you that. You're there praising the name of the Lord.
Lord, you've done exceedingly abundantly more than I could ever think to ask or imagine.
But you didn't have the discernment to know between good and God. So you've now fallen for the trap of the enemy. The Lord is so far from that man that you think that he sent you. And now you're crying unto the Lord, what have you done? Lord, what have you done? Why did you give me this man, Lord? The Lord never ever gave you that person. But you fell for the deceptive charm. You fell for the beauty that was fleeting. And now, because you haven't been slow and you haven't looked and examined the state of someone's heart, and you haven't guarded your own heart, you've now come to blame God for what you failed to do. No more of that. What the Lord wants for you, what the Lord has for you, it will come when the Lord knows the time is right. Isaiah chapter 60 verse 22 says, at the right time, the Lord will make it happen. So you can be out there scouting for whoever you want to scout. But if it's not the right time that the Lord has destined for you, you're just going to keep on running into problems that you just didn't need to run into. Ask the Lord to show you the way that he sees his people. Because a lot of people can hold a microphone. A lot of people can speak in tongues. A lot of people have spiritual gifts, but they have no spiritual fruit. And that's scary. People rush and they do things so quickly in this society because they want to be the first to do hard launch on Insta. They want to do the first to post
wedding ring to rain dance on Insta.
But then in 5 years, our relationship is nowhere to be found. In
5 years is so generous.
In 5 months, that relationship is nowhere to be found.
Dave and Thames, who made Rain Dance, didn't even manage to get from Billboard space number 33 to 1 before your relationship ended. Because you just decided to rush and do things on your own time frame rather than seek the Lord. Remember what Matthew chapter 6 verse 33 says. Seek first his kingdom and everything you need will be added on to you. Surrender. It's actually a beautiful thing when you surrender. And to surrender and have peace when you're surrendering, you need to realize the one that you're surrendering to. I used to struggle when I surrendered because I didn't know the one I was surrendering to. Okay, you're telling me to surrender, but I didn't know all the attributes of God and why it was safe to surrender to him. But as I read his word more and I realized more of who he was, I began to realize, wait, I am saving so much trouble, heartache, heartbreak, and time by surrendering to the one who has the whole world in his hands and is incapable of failing. To me, I don't even know. I've never really been a person that can speak to a lot of people just because they're attractive. All of this roster business, in Christ or not, that was not a bit of me. I also hate small talk, okay? How was your day? Blah, blah, blah. This, how many siblings you have? What's your favourite colour? And yeah, you're looking good as I'm speaking to you. But
Genuinely, I've never wanted the ground to swallow me up more.
I don't care whether you look like Damson Idris yourself. It's not going to cut it, okay? Especially me who can chat for England, okay? Unless your personality is engaging and I can actually see that you reflect the image of the Lord, that if I was with you I would be protected, that you can pray. Women are called to submit to the husband, right? The Bible tells us about God's intention for family. God, man, wife, kids. So it's like, cool, you look great, but
I'm scared to submit to you because you're not even in submission to the Lord.
So at the end of the day, it goes so much deeper than just what you can see on face value. And that's how the enemy will trap some people, because you've picked because that person looked great and they're funny and
Great.
but it will not stand alone. Like the Bible says, do not be foolish and build your house on sand, because when the storm comes, everything will come crashing and burning. And I do believe that the Lord can give it to you all, if you want to embark in a life of obedience to him. But I'm not even here to also preach like those people who say that, for example, you don't have to be attracted to your husband, you don't have to be attracted to your partner.
No, I'm not here to preach that at all.
So I never believe that there will be a situation where I will have to settle. But that is subject to my obedience and trust in the Lord. If I'm doing it by myself, then I'm not going to get everything that's great. If I'm doing it with the Lord and waiting for his perfect timing and asking him for discernment, then I'm going to get far more than I ever wished or imagined. That's what Ephesians 3:20 says. This is also my opportunity to throw into the vid a reminder that just because somebody goes to your church or they go to a church or they believe in Jesus Christ, it doesn't mean that that is your person. It doesn't mean that they're a good person, okay? When I first came to Christ, I genuinely believed that anyone in the church was a great person. Listen, sometimes it's the church that has the most broken people. So if you're now going with the basis, oh yes, that's the one for me.
Because there, I met them at church, I met them at fellowship, I met them at Bible study or Sunday school.
Come back to me when you want advice on how to get through the problems that have been caused by that belief. I'll be here to help you. Trust me, I'll be here to help you. Even personality-wise, okay, let's talk about it. What is it about you that is like different to the rest of the people? What do you enjoy? What can you talk to the next person about for hours? Do you like to read? Do you play instruments? Do you do sports? Do you have a creative outlet? What is it that you like to do? Okay, apart from make thirst traps on the internet. What am I going to show my kids?
The fact that you had a TikTok account with 10+K and you were making thirst traps to French music.
It's not going to work. It could genuinely be anything, but it can't be nothing. Great. Once you've established that that person's looks and their personality is good, then as well, like, how is their behavior? Okay, have you been with them long enough to see, okay, that person is a bit off when they're mad? Okay, what do you mean you're mad and you're telling me that you're seeing red? Okay, there's going to be a lot of situations in the future where I may make you mad, or children may make you mad, or other situations may make you mad. Are you going to now see red and knock me out? Okay, we don't joke about that. It's a very serious thing. Have you actually been through enough situations with somebody to see them in a true light? Don't have any problem with Christians who get married quick, okay? But I do believe that sometimes the reason why they're getting married quick is because they have actually known that person for a while before they started to date. But if you're actually meeting someone for the first time and you're getting married in 6 months, that is extremely scary to me. Especially because marriage, as the Lord has designed it, is a lifelong commitment. So once you've joined that and you've gone through the honeymoon phase, and now you're beginning to see the true nature of someone unravel, and you can't even leave. You can't even leave, mate, because the Lord said,
No.
unless it's adultery,
You are stuck right there.
And now can you see why I'm saying it's better to spend more time figuring out who that person is and leaving before and whilst you have the opportunity to leave than being trapped. Nobody wants to be trapped. I'd rather live a life of pure singleness like Paul than be trapped in the wrong situation. Even things like health. As a child who has a parent with sickle cell, mate, you need to be very, very careful as well. It's not just about looks. Looks is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much that goes on underneath that you need to figure out. Otherwise, you are going to live a life of hassle, unnecessary hassle that the Lord has not called you to live in. As women, wholeheartedly as well, I don't really want to speak on the men where I'm not called to, but as women, I genuinely believe that as well. Sometimes you attract what you are. So there's no good you going out into this world and saying, I need this, I need A, I need B, I need C. And then when you're looking at what's on your resume, it's
Not even one thing.
okay. Because I genuinely believe that like-minded people find like-minded people and like-minded people date like-minded people. Make sure that you're also asking the Lord to establish in you those characteristics too. For example, you may say, I want a man who knows how to submit to the Lord. Then how are you with submission? How are you with obedience? How are you with ego and pride? If you don't even know how to submit, you don't know how to let go of your pride, you don't know how to let go of your ego, then it doesn't matter. You could have Jesus himself, who was the best at submission and obedience to the Lord, and you still won't be a woman that's able to submit. Do you get what I mean? Because you haven't spent that time learning what it means to submit and how to do it to the best of your ability. You want someone who's a good steward of finances, but you're You don't know how to steward your own. You want someone who's educated and is articulate.
But you don't read yourself.
You know, let's not be hypocrites. Make sure in the meantime, while you're praying for that, that you are becoming that yourself. Otherwise, you may find everything that you need and you end up ruining it. The Bible also tells us as well not to awaken love before it's time. The Lord is a good God and he wants to bless us so much. The Lord withholds no good thing from his people. There are abundant blessings that are on the way to all of the children of the Lord who are obedient to his will and his word. Okay. The Bible also tells us, I think in Proverbs something, I'll put it there, that an inheritance received too early will lead to someone's demise. So the Lord may know what you want. The Lord has what you want, but the Lord cannot give it to the current version of you who exists right now because you would ruin it. And I know that's 100% true for myself. I've seen certain things in my life where I genuinely thought it was the time and everything has come to crash and burn. And it's like, no matter what I try to do in my own will, I come up with resistance. And recently, over the past year, where I've just slowed down and allowed myself to be completely free of any of that stuff, I've realized that every single time something failed, it was really because the Lord was protecting me, because I didn't know how to steward anything good. It sounds dark, but I didn't know how to steward anything good. I would be the type of person that would have something and bring it to ruin. Seeing that now as his love, because it's like a thing where he knows what I want and he does want to give it to me, but he also wants me to keep it. He intends for me to have it and keep it, not just have it and experience it for a short while. So when you're seeing a path of resistance, like whatever you're trying may not seem to be working out, I wholeheartedly do believe that because the Lord wants to give it to you, but maybe not at this right time. So learn more about him, how to fall in love with him and how to submit to him. And when you do give yourself to the Lord, you are going to actually experience the Lord as your true ultimate lover. And you're going to realize how no matter what he can give you, there is no one that is better than the Lord. Flee from people who only have good looks to offer, okay?
It's not going to get you anywhere.
Looks is not a currency of the kingdom. Read your word as well, because I've given you some examples today about what the Lord finds attractive, what the Lord thinks is beautiful, okay? He tells us that beauty isn't in these elaborate hairstyles and the jewelry we wear, but in our hearts. He says that he looks at the heart, not the outward appearance. Like, you can know what it is that you ought to be looking for, what you ought to be discerning too, if you spend time dwelling in the word of the Father as well, okay? It shouldn't just be that you're listening to people on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram and that's how you're ingesting your word. Open your Bible, pick somewhere in the Bible and begin to read it, because I wholeheartedly believe it doesn't matter anywhere in this book that you pick to read from, the Lord will teach you something. I could open a random page for the rest of my life, although I don't advocate for that because you need order and structure, but the Lord would still speak to me. In a 15-minute video, I can only say so much, but with that entire book that you have at your disposal, the Lord has said everything that needs to be said.